Hey, what is up guys, Marty here, back to do another video, and today I've got another game to showcase. This one's going to be on Tournament Highlands, and we'll be playing as the Steel Talons faction in this game, and my opponent will be playing as the Vanilla Nod. I do like this map. There's a lot of openings you can do on this particular map, and the one I'm about to demonstrate is one of the newer ones I've developed in recent times. I believe it works very well on this map. Haven't had success on others, but this one, almost 100% win rate with this strategy you're about to see. It is pretty new. What does it involve? It involves going for 4 engineers and taking your opponent's 2 Tiberium spikes. Both players get 2 spikes each, and I'm going to achieve this by summoning in a bunch of V35 Oxes so those engineers can be transported to the enemy's spikes quickly. Not only that, but I'm going to be building 2 hammerheads. Leave, why 2 hammerheads? Well, because I've got 2 missiles. 2 hammerheads is a decent rush. It's not just for taking my opponent's spikes, but it's also for securing them and forcing my opponent to build lots of units. Furthermore, the missiles inside of the hammerheads can kite enemy units. Now, this is not true versus APC missile, but against bikes, against buggies, you can outrange those units with sufficiently good micro. So this is a brand new opening. I'm not queuing a war factory, I just don't have the funds to do so. This is on 1 harvester, 1 refinery. It's pretty simple to follow, but it does require a lot of micro. So the MRTs, sorry, not MRTs. I'm sorry, MRTs will be in the next video, guys. Next video you guys will see MRTs. But these are going to be V35 Oxes, and I was intercepted because Bart obviously has seen this strategy before. He thought he could counter it with the attack bikes, but bikes can get kited by hammerheads, and since I've got 2 of these bad boys, those bikes will be forced back to base. Now, I did unfortunately lose one of my transports, so he did manage to get one of the spikes. He's on 3 harvesters as well. I'm only on the 1, or I could have 2 at this point. I've got a war factory. Eco recovery will be pretty slow, but this is pretty much the worst case scenario when one of your engineers gets sniped. I'm going to save my hammerhead as well, and micro is key here. If I lose one hammerhead, the game's pretty much over. I like these sort of situations. I like putting myself into precarious situations because this is very, very good when it works. I feel like if the skill ceiling was higher in this match or in this game, you would see more strategies that are viable, particularly the low eco ones that involved a lot of unit control, micromanagement. I think multitasking as well. It would be improved if better caliber players were playing this game. Like, I'm referring to those guys who play StarCraft, for instance. If they play Kane's Wrath, can you imagine the strategies that they'd come up with? Probably ones that we haven't seen before, just because it takes way more control. Now, they'd probably complain a lot about the interface lag, which is a thing, but you can mitigate that a lot nowadays by having a good internet connection, and furthermore, disabling VSync in your driver settings. I recommend, especially if you have a variable refresh rate monitor, to disable VSync in the global settings of your AMD, NVIDIA, or Intel driver, because that significantly increases the input lag in this game. And even though it's 30 FPS, disabling that makes this game feel super responsive. It will feel like a 45 FPS game if you do that. By default, sadly, VSync is on in Kane's Wrath, so you have to disable it, like manually. Some good kiting from me. I've still got both of these hammerheads alive. I was able to get that tip spike in the bottom, so I have a 3-to-1 spike advantage. And I've also managed to recover my eco somewhat. I'm going for MRTs now with the missiles inside. Looks like I am indeed going for the MRT strategy. So I'm going to showcase another move in this match. Now, I see bike buggy, and you know, most people wouldn't imagine building more aircraft to counter bike buggy. It would be the thing least on their mind. But there is 2 instances where that is actually the play, and that is when you're playing Scrin and going Storm Riders, because you can kite bike buggy with Storm Riders. Speaking of kiting there, I did a bit of micromanagement. I was able to get another bike kill, but these MRTs garrisoned up with the missiles inside of the V35 Oxes can do a significantly better job at kiting than these two hammerheads can, simply because they have more speed, plus they can self-repair in the sky. And if you guys read the R22 notes, I actually did nerf this particular strategy you're seeing, the locomotor. The turn speed of the V35s has been decreased a little bit. This strategy could have been done 12 years ago. This is how crazy this strat is with the V35s. It can kite bike buggy endlessly if your micro is good enough. Most of the time, it doesn't take much to do this, but yeah, this strategy could have been done 12 years ago, since basically the onset of 1.02 plus, and I felt like I had to prematurely nerf it, even though it wasn't abused by anyone but me. So in R22, these V35s do turn a little slower, and that's going to make it so when they turn around, the bikes have more chance to actually hit them. The bot is going to kite in and just sit in his base. And the thing about sitting in your base is you're not getting that blue Tiberium. Plus, I'm securing those 3 spikes still. And this game, basically from the onset, has been non-stop. You can see, I like this sort of game. There's no downtime. There's no time where I'm building harvesters and macroing up. I don't like that aspect of Kane's Wrath. That's why I'm doing my utmost to find new early games tactics and to increase the viability and options that players have for those early game strategies. I don't want something like a wreck and a rush to just end the game instantly in 2 minutes. That's not fun, but strategies that give you a small advantage or a potential lead if your play is good and you're rewarded, that's good. I like when skill and micro is rewarded. I feel like that's a healthy situation for the game. I've kept my 2 hammerheads still alive and I'm floating a ton of resources. You may be wondering, hey Leaf, why are you doing this? Why are you floating 10 grand? This is actually done on purpose so I can begin to spam mammoth tanks. I don't want to spend my 10 grand on Talons. Getting 10 grand worth of mammoth tanks is almost always going to be better, especially when I put down the second war factory. I'm going to be able to squeeze out mammoth tank after mammoth tank. I've also got another airfield as well. Drop the combat support. Those are only $500. Laser capacitors is online, so yeah, goodbye to those hammerheads. I'm going to lose both of them, sadly for me, but the V35 Oxes, if I micro them, I can actually kill the Venoms. 4 Venoms is not enough to kill 4 V35s with missiles inside, especially when they're already damaged. Catalyst missile comes down, so we're seeing some counter-attack damage. Thankfully, in R22, there is no reverse move bugging either, so all those harvesters waiting to dock in the ref will not experience any problems in doing so. See a Armageddon bomber coming in. That's probably a C-Tiberium, or at worst a Tib Vapor Bomb, but we have a Tiberium Vapor Bomb coming in here. This is actually a mine drop. That could have been a Vapor Bomb to kill that refinery. Probably would have been a better call, but yeah, the mine drop comes down. I've got an Orca, and that Orca I'm using for centipods because I was anticipating him to go stealth tanks at this point, but no, in fact it is a lot of laser capacitor scorpion tanks. We've got mammoth tanks coming out as well. I can see his base. He hasn't put a secret shrine down and stealthed his base. That's something you can do against steel Talons, and I highly encourage it. You can switch to infantry very quickly. Steel Talons have a pretty rough time against infantry if they're undetected. Not only that, but the Knob faction can put down Redemption and make infantry have a second life. So I'm going to focus on this spike, which I wasn't able to capture at the start of the game. I've got decent economy coming in now. Spikes from both of us are getting destroyed, and I'm going to just send these mammoth tanks into where I see his Redeemer engineering facility. I'm going to try and take that one out there. There's a stealth tank. By the way, there's no longer reverse move in this patch. I did fix it. For the stealth tank, they don't have any chance of reverse move bugging because before it paths, it already has no collision, and during that brief moment, the stealth tank can path without any reverse bugging, pretty much. I can explain it better another time, but mammoth tanks are coming in here. No railguns. Harvesters are there. I was wondering why those are being revealed, actually. It didn't make sense to me. Oh, I know why, because I have a centipod on the mammoth tank. That's right. So that's going to allow me to kill 1 or 2 of those. And Now, there are 4 mammoth tanks defending my base, just the cannons on the mammoths. But I'm going to have the railgun upgrade done very soon, and there's a Redeemer now to contend with. There's also an army of Scorpion tanks, which was microed back. I dropped a refinery. I've only got 1 harvester, 1 refinery, and now there are Spectres coming out, and I don't have any artillery to respond to this, so I need to make some plays happen. I need to make them happen soon. I'm going to take all the blue Tiberium. All of that has been gathered by me. And those Spectres, again, are very, very annoying to deal with. The mammoth tank with a Sin Spot in it, but not where it needs to be, which is at my expansion field. Stealth tank taking harvester after harvester out. And now I'm going to have to deal with this Redeemer. I'm afraid of the rage gen. The rage is like 7 seconds, and that's considerable. Your units will absolutely annihilate themselves in that time. Mammoth tanks, for sure, are going to be the worst affected. So if you can't avoid getting rage, just activate adaptive armor, so at least the mammoths shoot slower. Secret Shrine comes down. This was actually a pretty good thing for me to see. I knew, okay, there's infantry on the way. He hasn't yet got the upgrade. So I'm probably wise here to stop going for mammoth tanks. I have more than enough to deal with the Mark 2 avatars at the base, but that's nowhere near enough, especially versus the heroic missile squad inside of that there. So these mammoths in the top are going to do a flanking maneuver while my base is also getting destroyed by the Scorpion tank army. I have nothing to defend my base, but the Redeemer is taking a ton of damage there. Goes down before it even gets the chance to use the rage, and now my mammoths are moving in. Obelisk of Light comes down, Hand of Nod as well. Those are quite problematic for me because I don't have any anti-infantry, and that is a problem. Need to focus on these barracks quickly in case there are some fanatics being built. Those are only $600 nowadays. Scorpion tank's absolutely wrecking my base, and we have somewhat of a base trade situation. Going to crush all of these Spectres. MC falls, and now I need to relocate the rest of his base so there is no threat of a Hand of Nod just pumping out infantry. If that is a Hand of Nod in the southern base of his, then I'm in deep trouble. MCV getting focused down, and you know what I'm going to do to try and win a base trade? I'm going to start placing down these combat support airfields. It's only 5 seconds, and they have as much health as a regular airfield. So in a base trading situation, building these combat support airfields, or in the case of Nod, the Nod support airfields, is actually a super stellar move. Because they have way more health compared to Vanilla. Vanilla, no one built them because they just pretty much died. Like to anything. Even rifleman fire would kill them. So that's the reason why you see combat support airfields built more nowadays. Plus they give you a rifleman scout. Anyways, there is a base trade situation ongoing, and I don't have much besides the refinery and those 2 combat supports. Now that is a pretty big deal. I've got the 3 mammoth tanks there as well, just to stem the bleeding for a little bit. And I'm hoping that he does not have an outpost, but this is a pretty tight game. MRT doing what it can, trying to repair those 3 mammoth tanks. Mammoth tanks actually getting killed there by infantry. And if I can't somehow kill these Scorpion tanks, I'm pretty much going to lose this game. Because there are infantry 2, stealth tanks as well, 2 of them. But that is it. I managed to take out the remaining power plant. Man, if I had not got that power plant, then that would have probably been a different story there for me, because maybe he had another Hand of Nod. I don't know, but pretty close game nonetheless, and it showcased from start to finish a pretty decent Steel Talons tactic with the MRTs in the sky. I can showcase it better in the next video against Bike Buggy. You guys are going to see something pretty spectacular. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to smash the like button. I really do appreciate that. And if you want to see more, of course, then yes, subscribe to my YouTube channel and you'll be notified. Anyways, before I leave, I would like to thank all my Patreon members for supporting me and my channel, keeping this game alive, and also helping me develop this patch, which as of late has been pretty successful. I fixed a lot of unfixable issues, including the reverse move bugging, including the exploits, which I won't explain here, but a multitude of exploits were fixed, which had existed in the game for many years, and also a bunch of crash issues have been resolved too. Anyways, this is it from me, Marsleaf, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.